friends, my name is Megan and welcome to my 38th Flosstube episode. If you are new here, welcome. This is a channel that is mostly about cross stitch. However, I do share my other hobbies here when I've worked on them. For the month of January though, I pretty much just focused on my stitching, and that's all I'm going to have to show for you today. And if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and spending time with me. I appreciate all of you even more than you know. Today is Sunday, February the 5th, and it is a pretty standard winter day here in Maryland. We're coming out of a cold snap. The temperatures are definitely not as brutal out there today, but it is a little just kind of gray. This has been a pretty mild winter so far. It's been a little weird. It's supposed to be 60, I think, on Wednesday, which makes me feel uncomfortable. And speaking of Wednesday, Wednesday's a pretty big day here because it is Quentin's birthday. It is his 18th birthday. And actually tonight we are having a birthday dinner here for him. I asked him if he wanted to go out to do something for his birthday or if he wanted to have something here, and he chose to have something here. So I spent all morning getting everything prepped, and I'm at the point now where I can't do anything else. So instead of just wandering around aimlessly, not knowing what to do with myself, I thought this would be a good time to sit down and spend some time with all of you. So other than that, everything has been pretty status quo around here. Aaron and I have both been good. Quentin's doing fine. Dog's good. Cats are good. The cats have been in and out of this room, so, well, actually, but Kitty's sleeping right there. So hopefully they will behave for a few moments so I can film this update. And you might hear some background noise. Aaron's downstairs. He's got some laundry going, and I can hear him going in and out and piddling about. I'm not sure what he's doing. Okay, but let's get into it. I've got quite a bit to show you today. I've got some FFOs, which are fully finished objects. I did a little bit of framing. I've got some new starts. I've got some finishes. Yeah. And just a little tiny bit of what came in the mail. So let's get started. I think I will start with my fully finished objects. So I love to go on Facebook Marketplace, and I think a lot of people would go on there and just scroll around, and there was a listing for some frames for sale, and they were like $10 a piece, and like it looked a little funny. I wasn't really sure. It was like bins of frames. You couldn't really see what was going on. And then a couple weeks later, the listing said it had gone down to $5 a frame. And so I decided to contact the people, and there was actually an antique store here in town that had closed down, and they were like liquidating excuse me, what was left in the store, and they had a big pile of frames. So I went one day after work and I got some, and I used that to do some framing. I got some big ones to cut down for some other pieces that I'm still deciding on some things with those, but I did frame 4 of my projects, which felt pretty good. So the first one was called Mini Quaker Sampler, I think, by With Thy Needle. If that's incorrect, I'll put it down here on the bottom. And here's this one all framed up. This was just a dark wood, and I sanded it. What the hell was there? Because I hate sanding. So I sanded it, and this is a stain. It's like a charcoal gray, I think is the color of the stain, but it's definitely more of a blue gray, and I thought it went nice with this. So that'll go up on the blue sampler wall. Very nice. Sorry, I've got like kind of piles everywhere, so I might have to do a little reaching. The next one I did is And To All Good Night by Blackbird Design. I had finished this one in December in memory of my dad. I had made some changes to make it more about him. And this frame actually is not one that I purchased. This is one that Erin made. Get a little closer so you can see how pretty that is. She does a really, really nice job. He had actually made this for something else, and when I was like pulling out on my projects to see what I wanted to finish, I saw this in there and I measured it and I thought it fit perfectly. So I love that one. The next one actually had a piece of needlework in it. This was what was originally in the frame. It was this needle point. It's not in great shape, but I'd like to maybe find a way to repurpose this. As you can see, it was just like glued onto some cardboard. So I have to take that apart and see what's going on in there. And this is definitely a handmade frame. It was very interesting. I think I took a picture of what the opening in the back looked like. If I did, I'll put it in here. And here is my possum by Mama Witch X Stitch. I know this is not quite the same oval, but I thought it went really well together. Look at that crazy frame, how it's all joined. I really like this one a lot. I didn't do anything to this one. This is just how it came. So cute. Now one more. This is a little bit of a bigger one. This is Raven Bewitched, also by Blackbird Design. And so this frame was not in very good shape. It actually had linen insets here. I've got a couple other pieces that I've framed in frames that have that linen detail, and I really like that a lot. And I was hoping that I could maybe clean this one. It looked like it had some water damage and save it, but I could not save the linen that was in there. And so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. And what I ended up doing was going to Walmart and getting some fabric and Mod Podging this fabric into this insert. I was like watching the Board of Education meeting and like trying to like figure out how to cut this, and it's not perfect, but it's okay. I like the overall effect that it gave, and I think it looks great on this with this frame. So get a little closer, you can see the fabric. So that is Raven Bewitched. It felt really good to get some things finished. I think last January I did like a little parade of like finished projects, and I want to say I had like 44 of them then, and I really have not done much finishing at all last year, so I am hoping to focus on that a little bit more this year for sure. Alright, so those are my fully finished objects. Let's see what I've been working on since I saw you, what was that? New Year's Eve. Yes, it was New Year's Eve. My New Year's Eve. Erin fell asleep at like 8:30 maybe, and so both of my friends, Heather and Hannah, whose channels I'll link below, had up their whip parades, and so I hung out with them. I watched their videos for New Year's, and that was super fun. Alright, anyways, what have I been stitching? I am using the Book of Days. I had like a different calendar last year, just like a monthly calendar that I got at Target, and I think I actually kind of like that one better because it had a lot of like extra pages that you could add in. But I mean, this works. Mine is not all decorated, but I did stitch every day in January. Alright, so at first I'm going to show you my monthly stitches. I'm working on 3 different monthly projects. Hi. Sorry if there was a weird cut there. I had to pause for a moment. Anyways, I worked on all 3 of my monthly projects that I've been working on, and the first one that I picked up was the Top Knot Stitcher Shop Monthly Moons, and I'm going to put a picture in here of the one that I worked on. This was the August moon, which was the sturgeon. Yes, the sturgeon moon. I keep this project in this little celestial project bag that I made, and I am stitching it on 32 count charcoal Lugana, using most of the called for DMC. So here's where I am. These are so fun. And here is my sturgeon moon. This one's definitely a little more tone on tone, but that's okay. These are beautiful. And I think I said last time that she had released all the rest of them, and I have downloaded them, and I'm super excited to get working on those. The next one that I worked on was my 13 Moons Mystery Stitch Along by the Little Stitcher. It is no longer a mystery, and I think I have a picture of it. I can put it right here what the final project looks like. Here is my we'll call it much loved cover photo, or cover. This project lives in this project bag, which was actually the first one that I made. I'm stitching this with the called for DMC, with the exception of the white of the moon. I've switched that out for white sulky, and I'm stitching all of these on twilight blue, 32 count linen. So here we've got the first three, the next three, and then this is the new one that I added. This was the grain moon, I believe. That one was really fun and stitched. I feel like this one stitched up the fastest out of all of them so far. I really liked that a lot. These I keep in my car for my lunchtime stitching, and I just rotate through. Finish one, go to the next set, finish that one, go to the next one. And so I finished the August moon, and then I started my August Quaker from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. Just like this. This one, each of these call for just 3 colors, so I'm just picking colors from my stash. They all live in this little Maryland project bag, and I'm stitching them on a 22 count Aida, and it's covered in some probably cat hair, I'm not sure. So, you know, it's fine. I haven't gotten very far on this one yet, so it's all the farther that I've gotten. I just pulled it out this week, and there was one day, was it Friday? I think I was, or Thursday. I didn't have time on my lunch break to stitch. So anyways, those are the 3 monthly projects that I'm working on. And speaking of monthly, I am participating in Dee's 20 Stitches Stitch4Pride year-long stitch-along challenge. Dee's got a great video that explains all about how you can participate, and they have done an amazing job with giving us resources and learning material and all kinds of just really interesting and thought-provoking things to learn about. It's great. They even made us a sticker page, so like when you complete your task, you get to put a sticker on it. That so much. So as you can see, I did my January stitching. The stitching prompt was, I think, letters, something with letters or words on it, and I've stitched on all kinds of things with that, as you will see. But you should definitely go and check out their video and their channel, and I'll make sure I link them below as well. So that's been a lot of fun. All right. What else have I worked on? I worked on one secret project that I can't share. I can just, I'm just gonna give you this little. That will be probably done and gifted by the next time I see you, so I'll have to insert some information about that later. On January the 1st, I started 4 things. You know, sometimes that's just how it happens. So the first thing that I started was, speaking of Dee's 20 Stitches, this is Uncanny Kari in Dee's 20 Stitches, New Year, New Moon. This was out of their newsletter last year. And I stitched it using DNC Etoile, which I think is what it's called for. And this is a piece of 28 count something. I don't remember. Here's how it turned out. Cute. I love it. I want to make it into like a little hanging, just like they have it. I actually added in some beads instead of French knots. And I love how that turned out. Sorry, you guys just were shaking. Mittens jumped up on the table. Another New Year, New Start was, so the secret project was a New Year, New Start. The New Year, New Moon was a New Year, New Start. Another New Year, New Start was the Beatrix Potter Quaker Sampler. And this is by Stitchy Box Samplers. This is just a black and white version. And Julie from Kansas City Girl in Colorado World has started this as a stitch along. She got to see the original, I think it was last year. and I had had this in my stash for a while, and what better reason to pull it out. So I worked on this for about a week, and it's a lot of fun. I'm stitching this on a piece of 36 count vintage Quicksilver by Lakeside Linen, and I'm stitching it in DMC 535. So if I can find a picture of the original, it looks like more of a creamy linen with like a brown, I think it's charted in a brown silk, but I just wanted something, you know, sorry guys. Anyways, what I was saying is when I think about Beatrix Potter, it makes me think of being like a little kid. We had the books, and that's something that my mom would read to me when I was little, and it just made me think of that. And so when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do for a floss fabric combination, I just wanted something that would feel really soft and like, I don't know, like being a little girl, I guess. So I'm keeping that project in this bag, these bird ladies on it, and here is where I got to. And I love this. I love working on this. I finished the first page. The color is getting, it looks like blowing out a little bit. It's just a really beautiful soft purple color. So I finished the first page, and then I was a little bit nervous about my fabric size, so I stitched the outlines and motifs all the way down, and I got to that bottom corner just so I knew that it would fit. I knew I've got plenty of fabric this way, but I wanted to be sure that I had enough top to bottom as well. So that's where I got. This is, I just really love this. Thank you, Julie, for hosting this stitch along. The next thing I worked on was one of my whips. I'm trying to work on all of my samplers at some point this year, and so I was feeling good and motivated to do that. So I pulled out Miss Mary Claire Carroll 1738, the oldest known Maryland sampler by Samplers Revisited. Oops. And I had started this last New Year's Day and had not gotten back to it. And the verse on there is the New Year's verse. It says, "Not pleasing objects would soon pass thy sight, or richest food that highest taste delight, not numbered music which capulates the ear, or gayest dress that pleases much the fair. With virtue equal are my charming maid, these clog out scents, these to the mind guys aid. This New Year's gift your sampler may adorn, and be a pattern to others yet unborn." So that's what the top says, and I was hoping to get 3 more pages done. It's 3 pages across, but I didn't. I think the page ends like right under where these flowers are. I did make some good progress. This lives in my little Maryland project bag with these cute little pouches that I keep the floss in. I'm stitching this in all of the called for DMC on a piece of 38 count Wayfarer's Cloak by Legacy Linen. And here's what I got. So everything, I think I was up to, I had this line in, and so all of this down here is new. There's a lot of satin stitch in this project. And I do have a little bit of trouble with reading the chart, so some of it has definitely, I've inserted some artistic license into some of this for sure. But either way, the top verse is done, which means I'm almost at the halfway point on this project. So it's coming along. I'm glad that I was able to pull it out and work on it. The next project that I have to share with you was not a planned start. I was reading a book called Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott, I think is how you say her name, and it's kind of a Baba Yaga retelling. And I was listening to it, and I was thinking about how I knew I had a Baba Yaga sampler, and why not pull that out and start it while I was listening to a book about her. So this is by Thread Sewer. This is the Baba Yaga sampler. and I think I bought this in 2020, so decided just to start it. I'm stitching it on a piece of 20 count Vintage Country Mocha Ada, and I'm using this Color and Cotton Mist Dye, just this pretty blue. It's living in this great moth bag, and I got a page done. Oops, so here's the fabric. This will not take up this whole piece of fabric. Let me bring this in. That's one page done. This is really nice. I really like working on this Ada, and I also like it because I can just stitch it in hand, and it made it go pretty quick. So that was a lot of fun. Another whip that I pulled out was Black and Sky by the Primitive Needle. This is my also much loved working copy. I want to get this done this year, hopefully in the beginning half of this year. So this is what it looks like. It lives in my Janet Jabber bag. You can see it's like thick. There's a lot of floss in there. I am choosing the colors as I go for this with threads from my stash, and I'm stitching it on a piece of 36 count old brown linen by Extreme Design. And I got another block done. So here's where she is. I had 3 blocks done, and I got this block done here. I think I was kind of, I don't want to say dreading because that's not really the right word, but I was like kind of avoiding wanting to work on this one. I guess I had heard other people that stitch it talk about how, I mean, that's a lot of stitching in there. That's a lot of fill in. And then the original, the sun had eyes, and I did not put the eyes in there, but this is, I mean, that's not a small amount of stitches. And just a lot of people maybe felt like they had slogged through it, but I found it to be really enjoyable, and it made me feel really motivated to keep pulling this out. My hope is to pull this out every other month. I've got 2 more blocks and a border left, so oof, good stuff. The next project that I have to share is a little start and finish. I had stitched this pattern for a coworker and made it into an ornament for them for the holidays, but I wanted to make one for myself, and I had a little piece of fabric that I had saved for it, and so I pulled it out, and it takes like a day and a half maybe. This pattern is Holly by Hello from Miss Matthews. She had shared it in her newsletter in December. And here is my little finish. I used this is 32 count, the one with the dots, the linen with the dots, petta point linen, and this is the frame that she suggests. I got one of the pack of frames, and I used just some stitchery tape to attach it to the back. And this is mostly called for DMC. I think I just switch out one of the greens, but now I've got one for myself, and I love it. All right, this next project has given me a little bit of heartburn. And I'll explain why here in a second. So the next project that I have to share is The Old Winter by the Primitive Hare. And I love this. I think this is one of the most beautiful things ever. I just absolutely love it. And I've been working on it for, I think, 2 years now. So the first year that I worked on it, I stitched it in a Q-snap. And then last year when I pulled it up to work on it, I was doing just fill in on the deer and I switched to stitching it in hand. All right, so let me show you. This lives in this winter dog bag. I'm stitching it with the called for DMC on the called for linen. It's one of her linens. The tag is in my car. But here's where I am. So I don't know if it's going to come across on the video, but when I started working on this again this year, I could see a clear line from where I had stitched the top part of the deer in the Q-snap and where I had finished filling it in stitching in hand. Like it was, this top part was much denser stitches. The coverage wasn't as good down here. If I can, my friend Suzanne took a picture at our stitch group last Sunday, and you can really see it in the picture. So if you can't see it here, I'll try to insert, if she doesn't mind, insert the picture that she took, because this is what I was working on then. I finished filling in the deer, and I was so excited, and I started on the words at the bottom, and I was looking at it and looking at it, and it was driving me nuts. So I made the decision to go back, and I've already done several rows now, and add one extra leg on the top of each of the stitches in the deer to make them match. So I was feeling a little frustrated by that. And it kind of made me not want to work on this, but I'm going to try to at least get, work on it a little bit each day to try to get the deer filled in, and then maybe this won't get done this year, but that's okay. I love this so much, and I want it to be exactly how I want it to be, so it's worth it to me to go back and spend the time to add in that extra stitch. So here she is, the old winter. Continuing with the winter theme, I also once that got me all worked up, I pulled out another winter whip that I have. This is Frosty Morning by Mill Hill Buttons and Beads. And I've just been plugging away a little bit at this each night. And here's where I got to so far. I'm making pretty good progress on this one, I think. I go back and forth about Mill Hills if I like working on them or not. And right now, I am enjoying working on this one, even though there's something wrong with the tree over here. But I'm just going to fudge it, and it will be fine. No one will know. So there is my Mill Hill, and I do have one more new start to share. This I started on February the 1st with my friend Allison. She won my giveaway last year, and I gave away a copy of this pattern, and so I suggested that we maybe, if she wanted to, do a stitch along, start along together, and she said yeah, for sure. And she asked about February 1st, and I said that sounds perfect to me. So this pattern is Never Enough Time by The Good Housewife. I love this. This calls for 3371, or there's an MPI number as well. I'm stitching this just with, the model is stitched all in one color. I'm stitching this actually with 3 colors from my stash. And I am stitching it on a piece of 35 count gray linen. It's living in this beautiful bag that I love so much. I got this on Stash Unloading. I wish I knew who made this, because I would buy more of their bags. And this piece is long. Like, I had to make this like Franken Q-snap for it to live on. It's almost 400 stitches long. It's only 26 high, but almost 400 long. And here is what I got so far. So you can see this is a big long piece of fabric. I purchased this fabric for something else. Not even the other thing I'm going to show you. It was labeled that it was a cut for a size for a certain sampler, but it was not that clearly at all. Anyways, here's a close up of where I'm at. So as you can see, I added the green and the brown in the little time leaves, but this is coming along pretty quick. Once I made the Q-snap, it came along. It's been coming along a lot faster. And you probably are wondering why I have it down here at the bottom, not giving my framer, who is myself, a whole lot of room to work on. But I had actually had this fabric kitted up with another project, and I was feeling stubborn, and I didn't want to not stitch the other thing on there too. And that's Celtic Alpha by Courtney Collection. So I got some floss in there to start that, so I will start that once I'm done this. Though it's like an inch, they'll each have an inch margin down here, 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 and here. So I can be mad at myself about that later. But fun. I think that should only take a few more days, and that should be all finished. So that is everything I worked on in the month of January and into the beginning of February. I really enjoyed my stitching all month. I was just feeling really, really into it. the whole thing with the old winter had me feeling a little discouraged this past week, but I'm sure I can work through that, and yeah, and just keep on keeping on. I've got 3 of my whips pulled out to hopefully touch this month, so we'll see next time how far I get. All right, I just have a couple things here to share with you. I have not been doing a whole lot of stashing, so not too much has come in the mail. Maybe a couple more things in my email than my physical mail, but I do have a couple of kindnesses that I would like to share. Speaking of my stitching group, the Threaded Wrens, one of the ladies there, I'm going to cover up her name, she mostly does beading, and she made us all beautiful scissor fobs. Oh my gosh, she had a whole basket of them for us to choose from, which was so nice. I love scissor fobs. I love scissors and I love scissor fobs. So this is like, oh, I'm actually looking, I've got a naked pair over there. So I'm gonna put this right on them as soon as I'm done here. Another kindness from Stitching Friends. This is from my friend Hannah. She's been stitching the cottage garden year in the woods, and as she's finishing, she's been giving her copies to me. Hers are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. She was just finishing this one up at our meeting. I think she only had like a little bit left to go, and she posted in our Facebook group that she had finished it up after she got home. This is one of my favorites for sure. And then this might seem a little silly, but to me this is like perfect. My friend Mickey, also in my stitching group, she is cleaning out her sewing room, and she found these quilting scraps. Like I don't know why she had cut up her quilt, I'm not sure, but these great scraps, and she brought me a baggie of her quilt scraps for when I make my little primitive, I guess technically they're dolls, things to incorporate into them, and I was so excited. I was so excited to have these. It makes me want to pull out my sewing machine and make something immediately. So these are very special, and I'll have to make something super special with them. So thank you, Mickey. Next little thing, I had loaned a chart to a Stitchy friend, and she stitched it right up and sent it back, and she sent along this cute little card and a couple of goodies. I did not ask her beforehand if I could show, there's a little stitch card here, and it's got her and her mom on it, which is super cute, but I don't want to show them without asking. So she sent as a thank you this sweet little bat, reminder. How cute! Oh, I love it. And a floss holder and corner gauge from Shepherd's Bush. She lives, I wouldn't say close, but not too far. She sent a really cool little sticker that of the state where she lives, with like a star where she is. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I want a sticker like that for Maryland. So thank you so much. That was really kind of you to send those little goodies my way. And another little goodie that was sent to me was I had loaned one of my friends a blackbird chart that they were looking for to stitch, and this is the friend that had loaned me And to All Good Night and the Pumpkin Blossom needle book, and she's also loaned me, I think it's Sunflower Cottage, which I've kitted up and ready to go here shortly. But she finished up the one that she had borrowed and sent that back to me again with a nice little card. And she's great. Like, we chat back and forth now, and it's created a new friendship, and it's really cool. But she said she had 2 copies of this and wanted to pass one along to me in case I didn't have it, and I do not. This is Blackbird's Designs, Blackbird's Winter Delivery. So she sent me that, which is beautiful, and I'm so super excited about that. That might turn into what I make my little ornaments for me and my coworkers for this year. So that was the Stitchy kindness that came my way, and I appreciate that so much. I do have a couple other things to share. I'm only in one like monthly club right now, stitching wise, or any wise. And that's the Color and Cotton Fabric of the Month Club. This is January's 36 count in pewter. Somebody I was watching said that they like cut this out and staple it, I think, or pin it to the fabric, and I need to go through and do that because I'm not I get why they use these, but I don't like this packaging. Either way, this is the fabric. Just a beautiful light bluey gray. Very nice. This is stitching adjacent, we'll call it. I saw this on TikTok, and TikTok definitely made me buy it. This is by a company called Whip Stitch, and they make like iridescent quilting rollers. So, you can see how cool these are. So I got 2 of them, just because I don't know, they're beautiful. I don't think you can see it, but it's like blue and purple and iridescent. You know what that is. And I also got this little sticker from them. It's got a bad word on it, so just so you know. That's too funny. I love that. I had finished in my last video from Art Design Amanda May, one of her Chesapeake Bay Treasures kits. It was the swans that I finished, and so I went over to her website and I ordered another one of the kits. This is the blue heron, and it comes with all of the accoutrements. I got those, and then I also got some of her stickers. Cross stitch, watch Flosstube. I think she threw this one in for me, which is basically what I do. And then I got some of her sampler stickers. These are so pretty. These will definitely go on my Stitch4Pride sticker sheets. Come on. That bird. Look at this bird. And some of her cute little red samplers as well, which makes me want, I have one of them, and I do want to, makes me want to start one. From the lady that I like to buy my project bags from, Melanie, she had, I want to buy all of her bags. I love them. But she had one with this blackbird fabric, so I picked up one of hers. And then from Creative Poppy, I got 2 patterns from Claire Twittrell, sorry, Marie Cantis, Cantais, that's not how you say it, I'm sorry, 1877, look at that dog, love it. And then this pattern as well, Clemence Janu, 1889. This is stunning. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. And I actually have picked, I've got this 40 count Verdal, which is looking a little crazy in the camera. Golden Promise from Silk Weaver. And it's definitely like kind of a peachy color, and I think it's going to look beautiful with that sampler on it. That sampler is a pretty big girl. She needs a big piece of fabric. I did get a couple other PDF charts. My printer's been kind of giving me some struggles, so I will just put in pictures here. From Shaded Stitchery, I got Closely Kept. From Broomsticks and Bobbins, I got Hydrate, Eat the Rich, The Yule Bat, and Return to Earth. And then from Happy Little Mouse, I got Mantis and Spider Warning, Wasp Spider. So that's everything. I hope everybody had a very nice January, and looking forward to an even nicer February. Got a lot of things hopefully coming up to look forward to, so yeah, maybe that'll help get through the rest of the coldish winter months. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you all. I love you all.